What's up, everybody? trueeevil here, and today I want to go over everything we learned about effect accuracy and effect resistance going into the launch of Etheria Restart. Now, we learned these facts from the Hyper Talk yesterday, and I do think it's really important to talk about how this is going to affect the PvP metagame. So without further ado, let's get in on it. So there are three huge things that we learned from the Hyper Talk, which is, first off, we learned what the actual innate resistance number in this game is, which is 10%. And if you don't know what innate resistance means, is basically if something has a 100% chance of landing, it's actually a 90% chance. So even with 5 bazillion effect accuracy, the highest anything can land is 90%. And you might be asking yourself, then why do some things have a 100% chance? And that is because of the next two facts we learned, whereas the minimum something can be resisted is half that value. So with a 100% chance of landing, the maximum it can be resisted is 50% of that chance. So 100% actually has a minimum chance of landing at 50% and the maximum of 90%. And more importantly, the more important fact of this is that we learned what things can be upped to, and that is things can be doubled the value. Now, this is going to be most notable on things with a 45% and up, because that means you can affect accuracy all the way up to the maximum value of 90%. Now, nothing has a 45% chance currently that I know of, but there are a lot of things that have a 50% chance. Like, most notably, I would say, is Marvel's Skill 1, which a lot of people upgrade all the way to max and kind of utilized it to cheese a lot of the game during the final test, because 90% chance of turn meter steal is huge. So what does that mean with PvP? So the main takeaways we need to get from all this is that effect accuracy is absolutely broken in this game, and that any character with a 50% and above AoE debuff is goated. Most notably, characters like Kraken, right? It's basically you have a 90% chance of landing the Frozen, which, if you did the final test PvP at all, it definitely felt like a 90% chance. So glad it's confirmed with that. And two effect accuracy pieces I really think is all you need to guarantee that 90%, because if they go the effect resistance route, right, you're already dealing with someone who has 200% effect accuracy. So even with two effect resistant pieces, Coloss Guard and Bloodbath, it only sort of cancels it out. So even with all that, it's still like a 60% chance of landing. And due to that, I think, we just have to accept that, it's not worth doing this effect res, effect accuracy battle, because they're a glass cannon. They're going to want effect accuracy because, they're trying to just not get cleaved. They're trying to speed out, crowd control you, and get it good to go. But what it means for you, if you want to be a bruiser team, if you want to be tanky, or you just have bad speed sub rolls, it happens. I don't even think I got anything above a blue speed sub during that whole final test. And because of that, we need to utilize Bulwark. And Bulwark is going to be amazing because it just starts the fight off with immunity. So, if they start the game off with Kraken, they throw the briefcase down, well, not everyone's getting frozen because everyone with Bulwark is pretty safe. And due to this, we definitely want Bulwark. It's going to really just auto win us some matches. Now, you might be thinking to yourselves, well, I can just do something like Sukiyo, push up Viper, Viper dispels it, and then I CC, and then I follow up with my cleave. Well, yeah, that can definitely happen. There's definitely going to be a dispel the Bulwark into the cleave meta, but, that's not going to happen in the first week, and I doubt that's going to happen that many times in the second week. That's a little bit too much big braining. You're trying to plan for the first, possible counter. You're not trying to plan the counter to the counter, right? So because of that, definitely got to prioritize Bulwark, and then eventually we'll have to deal with that despelling of it. But first, let's talk about the best units to have Bulwark on, and that are going to be units that can cleanse as well as give immunity. And the first one I want to talk about is Hellkid. Now, Hellkid is going to be an absolutely busted character with Bulwark. He's going to be able to utilize the only DPS shell in the game that has Bulwark, which is Count. Now, Count is especially gross on Hellkid because his unique is to give everyone Shroud Barrier. And basically, when he uses skill 3, he gives everyone a shield based off his attack stat. And because of this, Count gives you just a flat attack up. It's going to make the Shroud Barrier bigger, and it's going to give you Life Leech too, so when you do that skill 3, it's going to heal you from all the damage you initially took from getting to your turn. And after that, everyone's got immunity with the Shroud Barrier, and if you're able to stabilize and keep that Shroud Barrier up, you follow it up with the skill 2, and then the skill 2 is going to make the Shroud Barrier even bigger. And at that point, if your Shroud Barrier is above a 50% above how much your actual health is, your opponent's probably going to be putting those fries in the bag because he is 100% cooked. Because once Hellkid gets rolling like that, there's pretty much no stopping him. Especially when he's teamed up with someone with like Rahu, for instance, where he's just going to be bulky as all hell, and they're just going to be laying down the noise. Now, the other character that's going to be super important with Bulwark is Ling Luo, and that is because of her Rockstar passive, which not only does it like cleanse your team, but her skill 3 heal gives immunity to everyone. So cleanse them, and then we hook them up with the immunity. And once we're able to start rolling after their initial first turns and they're in cooldown phases, you're able to just get around all the CC and really just duke it out and set yourself up to not get CC'd later on. Now, due to that, we need to utilize shells that are going to value Bulwark, especially if you want to like mix and match other things, because Count is the only DPS shell that we can utilize with it. So characters who do really well with Count, you can have Bulwark on them. So like Leanne, for instance, Leanne is going to be amazing with Count because she does her skill 3, does all the turn meter steal, and then you're going to have all that attack stat on the second turn that you get to make the skill 2 absolutely pop off. So Leanne is going to be amazing with Count. She can utilize Bulwark, even though I don't really want to put Bulwark on Leanne. It is a possibility. And because of that, just like you need to mix and match what characters you think are going to be best with Bulwark. Now, I don't think everyone needs Bulwark. Like, for example, Sonya, even if it's her turn and she's frozen, she still gets to do her passive effect at the end of the turn. And at the end of the day, that's all you care about. So characters like Sonya, I don't think it's mandatory to build Bulwark, but experiment with who you think can absolutely utilize this and not deal with effect res, because, if you can Bulwark and get around that first turn and set up, you don't really need to worry about CC later on, and you're just gearing up for success. So that's all my thoughts I have so far with this effect accuracy, effect res, and how it's going to affect the meta. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and please consider subscribing if you like Etheria Restart. So that's about it. See ya.